You mentioned one of the biggest benefits, of course, is family time. I think a lot of us have realized that that has been a huge benefit to the current situation. But have there been anything else that has, I wouldn't say happened, but things that you do that you wouldn't normally have done if you were on campus that maybe you want to continue to do even once we're allowed to go back to that life?
Yeah, I've actually been trying to like cook a little more and bake. I'm not saying I'm very good, but I feel like during the school year, especially during season, after practice, it's always like, where do we want to go out to eat? Because no one has any energy. We're all kind of tired and don't really want to make dinner and things like that. But this has really given me an opportunity to actually like watch what I'm eating and just make some things that I've kind of wanted to do and just kind of put off. So that's been something cool. Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing that I've done differently.
Well, now you're speaking a little bit of my language when it comes to like hobbies, and when there's free time, cooking, baking is a huge a thing that I like to do. So, what you mentioned some of the things that you've been wanting to make. What are those things?
About probably 2 weeks ago, I made these like shredded chicken tacos. They were super good. I've made banana nut muffins, which I really enjoy. Let's see what else I made. Oh, I made some breakfast stuff. So I made these kind of like egg muffin things with like eggs, cheese, spinach that you can put in the refrigerator. So it's easy to have like the next day. Those are probably the biggest things that I've made. I'm hoping to continue my culinary arts, but we shall see.
Well, I will say that the egg muffin thing is really helpful when it comes to being back on campus. I mean, that you probably save a lot of people's lives every morning in the house with that. Based just that's based on my own experience. I would also admit or submit to the conversation that I definitely think there is more concentration involved with baking compared to cooking. Not that cooking isn't hard, but man, if you mess up, if you get a teaspoon instead of a tablespoon or something, that could really throw a recipe off.
Definitely. It's like an exact science. So I'm going to probably stick to the cooking more than the baking. I got to watch myself promoting my abilities because people I live with next year are going to be like, you're going to cook, right? And we'll see.
That's right. They're going to watch this. So, and I'm not clipping it out either. So
Oh, good.
you've got a couple months to really brush up, or not brush up, but sharpen those skills for sure. Another part of the current reality is exams, and currently University of Lynchburg is going through that now, final exams. I haven't talked to any student yet, and I know it just started on Tuesday, so we're still pretty early when we're doing this interview. But what is that structure like? And I know you can only speak really to yourself. And I'm thinking, when I say structure, I'm thinking, is it at the same times as your classes have been, or is it still more of a, hey, here's this Q&A, style format, get it to me by a certain date and time? How is that structured for you?
Yeah, I'd say I have a good mix of both. So for a few of my classes, we actually have scheduled exams. So you have about a 3-hour time slot to take it. And for me there, I get about like an hour to actually take the exam, but you have the window of time to take it. But then I also have some classes where we kind of have this like short answer. You have the week to do it, just turn it in by someday at 11:59. So for those kind of formats, I've been trying to do like a chunk each day. So I'm not like forced to sit down and, do 7 pages of microbiology in one day. So trying to like save my brain a little bit. But I'd say I have a good mix of both like scheduled multiple choice, like on Moodle, versus kind of turn in by this day.
There's a sense of you taking charge in a social media aspect. When we had those D3 week initiatives, you wanted to make sure that you were showing that you were doing it. So maybe you could, help show somebody else that, hey, she's doing it, I should do it too. That's not, from my perspective anyway, that's not how it's always been. for yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. You're finishing your junior year, going into senior. Uh, for you, is that a concerted effort? Are you trying really hard to make sure that that is who you become, or do you feel like that you have just over time as an athlete here have developed those skills and now it's just kind of who you are?
I mean, I'd say a little bit of both. It's definitely been a growth process for me. Looking back at my freshman year, that's kind of where it all began. I don't really recognize like the person I was my freshman year, honestly. I struggled a lot with like confidence and stuff like that, not really believing in myself. And then about halfway through freshman year, kind of got the opportunity to have a starting role, which I was super surprised by. But the thing that kind of helped me out was no one else was surprised by it. They kind of instilled confidence in me, which allowed me to kind of finally, after a lot of like self-reflection, to believe it myself. So that was a real big journey for me. And then I'd say sophomore year, I kind of got to dip my toe in the leadership pool. I'd say I still had 2 seniors in front of me to look and to follow, but then I got the opportunity to kind of lead the younger players, which we had a big group of. So that was really cool. And then this year, Noe and I we're kind of looked at to be those leaders. And I wouldn't say I necessarily knew what I was doing all the time. And big thanks to the teammates and in front of me and the coaches for kind of helping us along the way, because I mean, we were still young, but the only 2 players who had probably 2 full years of experience. So that was a really unique opportunity to just grow our leadership. And I mean, if you had asked me to do this podcast my freshman year, I would run away screaming. Confrontation, just like speaking in front of groups, has never been something I'm super comfortable with, but I'm in the position now where I think people like look up to me and respect me. So it kind of puts me in this place where I'm able to show how much I've grown. And I know that there's players coming in that that are experiencing what I experienced when I was a freshman. So that showing that like you can kind of overcome those things has been really cool. And I think it speaks really highly towards what Coach Pisack's goal is for this program, and is to grow and develop strong women. And yeah, we would love to win every game. We would love to win championships, and that's still in our future, and still like we still have our sights set on that. But I think that growing ourselves as people is really something that we pride ourselves in. And it's been really awesome to just look back at the past few years and see how much I've grown. And I have the opportunity, I have a whole nother year left, so I can't wait to see like what I'm still capable of. And, you know, I still have lots of room to grow, but I think that I've made significant strides in that category and just being more comfortable putting myself out there. And I think if people on our team see that I'm doing it, they'll want to do it. And then we're doing it in a group setting, and they'll want to like hop on and do that. So I think it's been a really cool opportunity during this quarantine to kind of even grow our leadership even more. So sorry, that was a long rant, but
That's okay. It's okay. The older that you get, the more you want to get all the details out. So that's fine. That's just another sign of your maturity.